I belong to the bed.
Good afternoon, good evening, or good night, and welcome to episode 42 of Technolotics, brought to you by me, Francis McGillicuddy, and
Gareth Stack.
wow, say it with a bit more enthusiasm there.
I was trying to be all alpha and shit. Gareth!
Do you get that?
You like
Do you
that,
want us to
didn't you?
write it down for you? And wave it in front of your face? Did you get it? Did you get that? Did you? Did you? Did you? Did you? Right.
Okay.
Send you a note in the post.
Rolling in to our first hit of the news stick.
News. Anyway, okay, so our first story is Blue Sky R&D dead? So, the current boom in IT and the whole technological economy is in part due to the huge amounts of money and time and research that was put in the 60s and 70s by huge companies like IBM, Xerox, and their Xerox Park research lab, that these companies essentially gave researchers free rein to research anything and everything, whatever came into their minds, whatever they wanted to do. There was no pressure on them to actually produce working products.
They could build a giant testicle just for aesthetic purposes.
Yes.
Stroke it till it died. It was
Yes.
fun.
And got really hairy.
Ooh, it's so hairy!
Stick it hairy. Anyways, so in many ways, a lot of the truly revolutionary ideas that are the foundation for the current technological economy came from these, such as the transistor and the ARPANET, which is the basis of the internet. So in many ways we owe these research labs and all the money and time that was put into them for the current successes, the Googles and Yahoos of this world.
Ooh, sorry.
You quite done?
Please continue, I apologise.
Anyway, the trouble is that in the current world, there is essentially no room for these kind of labs. The large companies which funded them essentially can't really afford to do it anymore. The smaller companies like the Googles and whatever of the world, which are which are seen as being more agile and faster moving and jumping on innovations really quickly, they have to try and keep up with them. So researchers nowadays are forced to always be able to explain or prove that any research they carry out has some commercial potential. So essentially there's no room anymore for anyone to just have a crazy idea and just follow it and see where it goes.
We love you, hairy testicle.
Yes, because the world needs more hairy testicles. Truly it does. So the problem is, where's this going to lead? Now, one of the real dangers is that essentially the scientific capital, which has produced the boom in technology and all these mad startups, that's going to run out, or else it's not being replenished because people are not putting in the research, not putting in the time. And also there's danger that the new IP laws which are coming in are essentially restricting the two guys in the garage from actually bringing their idea to fruition, because someone else is going to come in and go, oh, that's too much like our product or something we might be developing, or we have a patent on something slightly related to that, so you can't do anything.
I think we already see this all the time though, even within companies. Like if you look at Apple Next Step, I mean Next Step is a great operating system, and when Steve Jobs went back to Apple, they went a different way. They chose to develop a shit, I can't remember what the fuck it's called. It's not Linux, it's a Unix free, Unix derivative.
Ubuntu?
No, you fucking idiot! Ubuntu! No, God, there's thousands of people right now, all of them laughing in cruel humour at the fact that I can't remember what this is called. And you don't even know!
I don't even
This
know.
is called Technolotics, not don't know shit about computerologics. Oh shit.
There's our new title. Don't know shit about computer
It fucking
politics.
should be. Anyway, it's a very well-known free Unix that Apple adapted into producing OS X, and Next Step was dropped essentially. So there's an operating system that died on the vine because within a big company they couldn't have two. I'm sure the same things happen at Microsoft.
Oh yeah.
Different teams working on different systems.
Different things get dropped.
They get dropped.
I think
It's evolution, but it's not. Whereas in the wild, things get a chance to survive. And okay, you might have a fantastic mutation that's killed off before it can have any kids, There's no one force prevailing and crushing, and no legal screw up of that ecosystem. And it will come to me. I will remember it. Sorry.
And just go, "Ah!" I remember at some stage. So be prepared if you might suddenly go mad and go,
At any moment. And jump out of the bath that I'm sitting. You can't see it, but I'm sitting.
Yes.
From below, wherever the camera ends, there's a bath.
Yeah.
Lots of
the water
juicy turtles licking at my toes. And I was like, please continue. Sally, you've never been juiced until you've been juiced by a turtle.
Oh, really? So, actually, the closest thing we have these days is Google's 20%, where you get to, if you happen to be one of a Googleizer.
Googleizer.
I don't know.
Googleizer.
And a Googleizer. You get to work for 20% of your time on whatever you want.
Is it not a goog?
Maybe it's a goog.
Or a goo.
A goo. You're a goo. You're a bit of a goo.
Goo.
It's a bit of a goo. I always wanted to be grow up and be a bit of goo.
It's sad, isn't it?
Probably is. People are like dreaming
Working in Google.
being a goo.
Start up your own company. It's what Jesus, if you have a CS degree, start up your own company, you twat. It's the right time. Don't be working for Microsoft or Google. Maybe for a couple of years to build up some cash.
Yeah, exactly. Spend that 20% time just learning about everything. And then
Ideas are 10 a penny. It's not hard to have an idea. If you put them into action! Action!
build your crushing empire.
Sorry. Yes.
Yes, it's fantastic.
So will the future exist or will it not? Because there's no research.
It will exist, but it might.
You're
might exist.
You're gonna go on that, stand on that branch and make that claim. The future will exist.
The future will.
We'll see if you're right.
No,
I bet you 50 years.
I bet you 50 years from now, it won't be the future.
It won't. I tell you, it'll be the past, if anything.
Yes, exactly. It will actually. It's the
50
time
years
will
from then,
start
it'll
to
be
go
back now again.
backwards. Yes.
It has already. Okay. Before we go any further, I want to do something I forgot to do last week, which is to thank the two fat conservatives from the countryside who came up the weekend before to have the show. Cheers, lads. George Bush, thanks to you, and I do too from the bottom of my heart. You need not wear a bag in our presence. You're always welcome. Okay.
Aww.
Love you. Anyway. But that is, of course, the two Irish geeks and a TV.
No, they didn't bring the TV.
They didn't bring the TV with them because they were on this show, not their show.
Oh.
They didn't have a TV though. They should have had a TV. Maybe kind of nestled it. Maybe
Box.
instead of a mask, he could have worn a TV on the set.
Yeah. Or like a big cardboard box with his face in it. Like, this is.
Well, maybe George Bush's face, and then he could have delivered the State of the Union.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
My fellow Americans.
I'm still trying to fucking remember. If someone could just beam from the future into the past with a thought, I'm just going to clear my mind for a second and see if that works. You fuckers.
Yeah.
You fuckers. Anyway.
Because anyone who's building a time travel or thought sending machine in the future is definitely going to be spending their time watching this show.
The great minds are watching this shit, I'm telling you, because the shit I get up to later in life, that's going to make everybody dig deep into my
They'll
past.
be wondering, where did it all go
Where
wrong?
did it... Screw you, hippie. We have an update on our story about the British government scanning all your emails, perhaps in a blog post, so keep checking out the site later in the week. We haven't got official permission from the person who submitted this story to go ahead and give you more information about that, but a little bit of information about that coming up.
Stay tuned.
Well, yeah.
Or
By reading.
the internet.
By reading. Yeah, okay, so, the next story. The strange case of Brookers Brodack.
Try saying that 50 times quickly.
Jesus, she's a triple B. Of course, it doesn't exist in nature, and that explains a lot. Brookers is a YouTube celebrity, has a MySpace site and all the rest, and she's one of the many young gap-toothed beauties who sing along to famous hit songs, in Brooker's case usually from musicals of the 1950s. Brooker became a minor celebrity when her songs garnered attention for her strange facial contortions, and she was spotted by, of course, the enormously talented and world famous Carson Daly, well known for having appeared once in a Marshall Mathers video. And he decided, you know that bit, she has to decide who to give head to first.
Oh yeah.
It's a model of Christina Aguilera. So he spotted her, seized her, and then he's planning to build a mobile empire using her amazing brilliantness. Possibly this will... I think she should have replaced Amanda Condom on Rocket Fuck or whatever it's called. That's the worst attempt at humour. Jesus.
Yeah,
Shit myself
that was weak.
I know it was weak, but I was mocking myself for forgetting her name. That week we were talking about her, I kept calling her Amanda Condon, and it's actually Condon or some shit. Who cares anyway? But she should have been the new Amanda. She's got that same whole fruitiness, you know?
Yeah, she could have done that. Yeah, she might have been bad at that.
You know, I'd actually tap her. I would tap her, I have to say. Brookers.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know she's not good looking, but see, this is why she's a MySpace celebrity or a YouTube celebrity. She's tappable.
She's tappable. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if she was horrifically ugly,
she'd still be, I don't know, she would be still. But she's
would
like,
she be as popular?
it's like girls saying, oh, that guy's such a good dancer. You know, something about her, like, contortioniness. I'm going to shut the fuck up.
Contortion. Yeah, the word for today, contortioning.
Oh.
Yeah, that'll be cut out.
Yeah, well, it'll all be cut out. The whole show will be cut out.
The whole thing will be just one long.
Replaced with
cut.
Alright.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think she has like 2 million people that looked at her profile.
2 million.
2 million.
People.
Yeah, I looked at it today. It's gone up to
2 million and one.
2 million and something. And like there's like 13,000 people subscribed to her. So, but
2 million.
frankly, like her stuff, it looks like just the usual kind of self-indulgent. Oh, look, I'm in a camera and look at me. I'm a camera and blah blah blah.
I guess it's like Bebo.
She seems to have some slight editing skills, like, you know.
It's like Bebo on a grand scale.
Yeah.
It's just lots of teenage kids with nothing better to do, but they're a big fucking market. So don't discount them.
Exactly.
YouTube,
Well,
the TV channel.
We'll get to see what Brookers manages to come up with for Carson Daly Productions.
He's probably just tapping her.
Probably is.
Anyway.
It's probably in the contract. The tiny print in the micro dot.
It just says tap tap tap.
No, there's a tiny micro dot and it's like, hold on, here's the microscope. Oh no! Inside my soul, you!
I doubt she can read. It's probably not even a big issue. Moving on.
Yes. Okay, finally, somebody stands up to those MPAA bunks. Damn you, MPAA. So, the MPAA and Universal Studios have decided to sue Sean Hogan for downloading Meet the Fockers using BitTorrent. However, Mr. Hogan states that he actually owns Meet the Fockers on DVD.
I think he should be sued just for that.
Yeah,
Anyway.
actually, that is rather a crime. What were you thinking? You know? Anyways, now he was offered the option of settling for $2,500, which many people opt to do in this situation because they can't afford the legal fees which they'll incur if they decide to fight the case. So most people, when they're faced with this situation, tend to do that. They settle for whatever the MPAA or the RIAA, if it happens to be for music downloading, if they're being sued for that, they tend to settle because it's going to cost less. It's easier. So, the thing is, Mr. Hogan says, no! I'm going to fight you. I'll fight you on the beaches. I'll fight you in the court. I'll fight you out in the street right now. So, he has the money because he's made loads of money from making software. So, he's going to take them to court and fight it all the way, and he intends to win. So, the thing is that this is going to be an interesting legal case because no one's actually really done this before. Most people, when they've tried to fight it, they've had to eventually settle because the legal fees got too high, and pretty much no case has ever made it to court. So if it actually does make it to court, Mr. Hogan will get the opportunity to challenge a number of things which haven't been challenged before, including how does the MPAA and the RIA get access to the ISP records, and secondly, how are they able to prove that that such and such a person downloaded a file from the internet, a copyrighted file which they shouldn't have done, and they have this IP address. How can you tie an IP address to one person? So in this day and age of IP spoofing, zombie networks and all the rest, how can you be really sure that someone has downloaded a file? Because as we covered in a previous show, the BPI was just using bots essentially software agents.
That's the British porn industry, for
Yes.
those of you who don't.
Essentially, most of these are probably using software just to try and recognise copyright infringement. So it's not a person who's doing this, and the evidence they often have is very tenuous. The BPI simply used a screenshot and an IP address as evidence that someone was actually doing something they shouldn't have been doing. So how much evidence do they really have on Mr. Hogan? If it came to a court, could they really prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he actually downloaded this file? It's very questionable. So, or we're going to find out in a couple of months when it finally comes to court.
Rock
if it
on.
does. So rock on, Mr. Hogan, we're right behind you. Give him hell.
And if you do get sued in Ireland or the UK by the local representatives, in our case IMRO, in the United Kingdom's case the British phonographic industry or whatever,
Yeah.
take the case to court. Don't do it yourself. Get in contact with the Open Rights Group, Digital Rights Ireland, one of these representative bodies. Get them to find you legal representation and fight the case, because there are serious legal problems with the way these cases are being pursued, and they have not been tested. They haven't been tested in the courts in the UK, they haven't been tested over here. People are ceding defeat, and that's a great it's publicity boon for the organisations, and of course it means you have to pay several €1,000. So down the line you might end up with a huge legal bill and your life could be ruined. But take that, fight the good fight. Take that stand.
Well,
I would.
Yeah, I think
Francis would. I wouldn't, but I would. Okay. Look out for an interesting statement from Digital Rights Ireland this week. Can't talk about it right now, I don't think, but they'll be making a press release in the very near future, which is very interesting. So keep an eye on digitalrightsIreland.ie.
Yeah, I think it's very important that someone is actually standing up to them and taking them on. Because
Absolutely. Evil prevails where good men fail to act.
Exactly.
Can't remember who said that, but it's very deep.
It's very deep, but it's true. Because
It is true, it is very true.
Frankly, you've no idea what they're basing this accusation on, and this guy, alright, he says he's innocent, so we'll believe we'll say for just, argument's sake, that he is completely innocent. He's never used BitTorrent, he's a perfectly nice bloke, he's never so much as jaywalked. Okay?
He's perfectly
He's
nice.
perfectly wonderful, fine stand of a man, wonderful human being. So, he's also fighting against people who are like, obviously there's some very dodgy evidence here, if any. So like they're just possibly blunderbussing and just suing anyone who they might slightly suspect of doing this, and just people will just give up, put their hands in the air, and just, it's also a way for them to grab money, because they can just go, you can't fight us in the court, so give us $2,500. It is a way to grab money.
It's a dead business model with intimidation tactics.
It
Just
is
like the mafia have been doing for hundreds of years.
But it's almost like protection money. It's
It
like
is,
going in and
protection
going,
money.
look, you can't fight us because we're too strong, so give us the money.
What other industry do you know makes money by suing its customers? None that are legitimate. Okay, so moving on to our next story. If you have extra stuff in your gaff and you want to get rid of it, don't necessarily need to hire a skip or throw it at the neighbours. You can Freecycle it. This is fucking shut up. You can Freecycle. Freecycle is a movement started in 2003 in Tucson, Arizona, to prevent landfills filling up everywhere by people reusing things. And if you have extra things, and which of us don't, I don't, so you can give them to me. Post them on one of the many boards. And it could be a child, could be a girlfriend, could be a child. It could be a large collection of Dutch memorabilia.
Yes,
Post it online.
in many shapes and sizes.
Um,
In black, white, clean, in general prefers.
It could be a combination dildo and bong.
Yeah.
I'm sure they exist. Whatever it is.
Or if they're not, there we go, our millions are made.
God, fuck, we said this now. Beep it out, beep it out.
Beep it out,
This
yeah.
could be the business
Cool.
that makes.
Yes.
I want to see a movie using this toy. This is fantastic. Okay, so there's no more story. We have to get through this quickly, so go off and follow the link. Freecycle. It's on our wiki, which is linked from Technolotics.com. You can reach us at careertechnolotics.com. Next story.
Fantastic. Okay, next story is AMD has bought ADI for $5.4 billion. So this allows AMD to consolidate its microchip business and actually branch out into new areas such as making graphics cards and also get involved in making chipsets which they weren't doing before but which rival Intel are hugely involved with, and they're able to integrate their CPUs with graphics cards, so you get integrated graphics and CPUs, which AMD pretty much wasn't able to compete with before, but now they will be able to do because they can do both with AGI technology. Hooray! So now your crappy or wonderful AMD computer will also be able to play games with its wonderful integrated graphics, and they'll run at like a whole maybe 5 frames per second. You'll be able to maybe shoot that enemy who's running at you in about half an hour. Stuck to the chair.
I bet you fucking you know what, I wouldn't even mind integrated graphics. It's when they don't have an AGP slot, like this piece of wank from DELL, which is bollock and doesn't have an AGP or a PCI Express slot, like all the computers in college. That shit. Integrated graphics, fair enough, it's a cheap computer. No AGP port, fuck off. That's just
ridiculous.
Anyway, sorry.
That's ridiculous. It's just a handbrake.
It's
mashing.
It's pointless. What does it achieve? Nothing.
Nothing. No games. No juicy graphics.
Yeah, because people are really going to go, okay, well my Dell didn't have an integrator, like anything more than integrator, so I need games, so I'm going to buy a new Dell, which has an integrator. No, they're going to go one spit and twice shy, you fucktard, Michael Dell.
So I'm very aggressive today.
So, next story, Fight the News. A series of controversial computer games have been produced. The Games for Change conference was last month, and a series of games came to light, including Food Force, where you have to provide food to a war zone, Peacemaker, you have to create peace in the Middle East. So these are serious games which explain serious issues through interactive adventuring.
The idea of the Peacemaker one. Because, like, well, I just briefly read the article, and it was like the guy said he was playing, and it was like, oh yeah, I tried doing this, and then it just got worse because I was trying to, very much like now, I tried to attack Hamas, and then it just blew up in my face.
What a surprise! It's interesting, but obviously decisions are made when they're producing these games about what will be the result of Israeli Prime Minister decides to give Gaza to Palestinians tomorrow. And that may or may not be right. The creators' politics are integrated. So this is a burgeoning area. Twitch is that future Parkinson's disease. Burgeoning area.
They're sending you from the future with those thoughts.
Which will have all sorts of serious consequences, like, you know, which games will be impartial, well, if that's even a real possibility. What political message will games carry? Right now it's very easy to see. If you play America's Army, it's obviously not going to be those left-wing liberal point of view. If you play, there's an equivalent. There's a game where you can play as a Palestinian fighter. I can't remember the name of it.
Didn't we?
Called Wet Sand.
Pimp something like the Korean Army or something like this, Iran. Yeah, we did it in one show. We pimped this Iran one where it's like, yeah, he must fight against like the imperialist rebels who are trying to who've kidnapped them. Some nuclear scientist, of course.
Yeah, the Iranian game. Yeah.
It's like this colonel something or other, and it's like, you must defend
the glorious Iran.
Yeah, defend the glorious Iran.
So, controversy in the future. Check out these games. None of them are linked, but the article which mentions them is linked. We should throw in the links or something.
Dating 2.0. So, okay, for those who don't know, there's dating on the internet now. Click. Click and you can get a girlfriend free with every click. So
you've got some experience in this arena, haven't you, Francis? You've met a few girls on the internet.
Well, last girlfriend I met on the internet. Shock and horror. And it does happen, it's becoming more popular.
It does happen, you can find
more people are joining websites. But, anyways, TechCrunch has taken a look at a number of Web 2.0 dating websites. So, obviously, all of these are aiming for particular niches. Most dating websites all have particular aim, or they're trying to get a certain group. So, apparently, most recently, there's a lot of websites for particular groups, such as in the US, there's ones for conservatives and ones for liberals and Democrats and Republicans.
Is that true?
Yes, really. This website, there's actual ones specifically for like Republicans, so you can, or say for particular ethnic groups, such as say, I don't know, Jewish people, Indian people, Irish people.
J8, very famous site.
Yeah, so you know, there's a whole huge range of websites out there, but just a few of the newer kind of ones which are coming into line are one of them is Engage, where essentially you can set yourself up as either a match or a matchmaker, so you can actually try out the role of matchmaker and try to bring people together. So I don't think people are going to be too good at this. Yeah, you two should date, because I don't know either of you. But yeah, you look cute.
Yeah, it seems like a real sort of attracting a second account to think, yes, I reckon you look very well with Steve,
my friend, who I don't know.
Who I don't know. Who isn't
I've never
me.
met before in my life. Okay, interesting one is greatboyfriends.com, and your friends of course, and where family and friends can leave recommendations about you, and also your exes can leave recommendations about you. So yeah. So all those exes which you've done so nicely and who still love you and think you're fantastic, they can all leave wonderful words which will get you lots and lots.
I can only
ladies.
imagine what my ex would say about me. Oh my god.
So many wonderful things, your mind is just exploding.
Yeah, it's actually terrifying.
Yeah, there's also, we also have Mashtag, which is a social network with activities. So you can post activities and then people will respond to you, and then you can pick the best respondent and then carry out the predetermined idea. So, I don't know, would it be that good? Yeah, I'm going to cinema. Woo! Tons of people come running.
Like,
You'd have to come up with some pretty awesome activity to get people to...
jumping out a window together. Whee!
Oh, I'm stuck to it again.
Fuck's sake,
Ah.
dude.
Stuck
The
to
trouble
the
with
chair.
all these sites is, of course,
Stuck on me.
stuck on you. The problem is, like, unless you're in a big, major United States urban area, you're not going to be able to find anybody on them. You know, you're gonna have to use Yahoo or Match.com, because how many people in Ireland are on what's one of these?
Poddater.
Poddater,
Which is specifically for video. Everyone needs video profiles, which isn't really
I reckon that's
special
a
because
really cool idea,
no,
because
because a
video
lot of,
dating, but you don't go to an agency and sit in front of a camera and.
yeah, but a lot of websites like Match are now including videos.
Oh, really?
Yes.
There
So,
you go. This is why you're in the store.
Yeah, exactly, and a lot of them actually integrate audio profiles and things like that now. So it doesn't really
Hi.
seem like it's anything revolutionary. It's very niche, and a lot of sites like Match, which have a huge subscriber base already.
Do your sexy face,
including this.
just for the video. Oh my god.
No, that's not my sexy face.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah, but I love the idea of prescription for love. Users with unique medical conditions or disabilities can meet. So, okay, yeah, the idea of people with particular medical conditions. Sorry, it's just an opportunity to make too many jokes. Let's not even go there.
Oh,
But I
dear.
think you know where we would be going with this right now.
Hi.
Yeah, can you imagine the video profile?
There are no pictures on this prescription for love site, and there's a very good reason for that. People with no face, meaning their ideal no face partner. For example.
What about socially retarded.com?
Yeah.
For those with no social skills at all.
I don't know, you'd have to have a female portal onto that, which was like reallycoolguys.com, and then, you know, they'd be the same site but with two addresses, and different graphics and stuff.
So rather than talking to Todd, the really cool surfer, and
We're actually talking to
and lifeguard, you're actually talking to Goof, the really big nerd who hasn't left his room in 5 years.
Otaku, whose parents called him Goof because they knew he was going to be such a fucking nerd before he was even born. You could tell from the ultrasound. Is that a fucking pocket protector? Jesus Christ, where's his penis?
So yeah, most of these are we're trying to come up with like unique hooks to get people to join, and actually, although many of these charge, there are a lot of websites out there which don't charge. And one of the most popular websites out there at the moment is called plentyoffish.com, and it was actually set up by a guy who, it was just an experiment for him. He just wanted to learn how to make PHP and use PHP, so he set up this website, and apparently it's got tons of users. Still looks pretty shite, but apparently it's very popular and it's 100% free. So if you're going into the old internet dating, that'd be a place to start.
Do you know what I read somewhere that adult personals or adult friend finders, one of these adult dating sites is like as big as like Match.com. And apparently, you know the one you see the little banner comes across the top and it's like, you know, find sluts in your area or whatever. There actually are sluts in your area.
Yeah, except a lot of those sites you have to pay to be able to message someone, but someone has to pay to be able to reply to you. So, you know, if you message someone, first of all you have to pay, and then if they're not a paying member, that's like you're wasting your money. So if there's no one in your area who's actually paying, but wasting your time messaging all
You're
these
effectively paying for sex anyway if you're going on to adultwankbuddy.com or whatever, so yeah.
Adult Wank
The
Buddy.
last of
There
the
you
words.
go. New website coming your way. Hosted by Gareth Stack at wankbuddy.com.
I'll be your wank buddy. And actually, in relation to wank buddy,
See, look at those arms.
biceps like a mule, even though they don't technically have arms.
Do mules have biceps?
They could have a collection. Pornotube.com is, guess what? YouTube for porn. Fantastic site. It's a social bookmarking site. Well, not social bookmarking, sorry, it's a video distribution site where you can see and share porn videos. And I'm telling you, check out Hannah. What's it? Hannah being Hannah or some shit like that. She looks pretty young now. I'd say she's 17, 18. I know it's bad, but it's still legal. Fuck you Americans, legal over here. And
In fact, there was no law there for a while.
There wasn't.
Yeah, there was about 2 weeks where there was no law.
Oh, the best 2 weeks, man. But, you know, it's an interesting site. It's an interesting experiment in niche video distribution.
Oh yes, niche. We salute you!
No, that was my fap. Yeah, forget it. Okay, so, Media Pimp.
Media Pimp. Okay, I'll go first. How to make a steadycam for €14. So if you're an amateur filmmaker, you've got some pipes and drill and... Okay, if you're near a hardware store essentially and you've got a drill you can borrow, because hell, you're not going to be very handy with tools if you're going around making films all day long. Ew, I like to make films. But if you've got an actual old brother or a dad who actually is able to do some DIY, you can get him to make
Or maybe a
your
husband.
steadycam to make your films.
It's
But
not
actually, I've
coincidence.
seen a video of this thing in action. It looked pretty cool. It showed a video of him like he was running along a corridor, and yeah, it was pretty steady. It was pretty steady. It was like, yeah, that's better than around the place. So probably not as good as like the $1,500, you know, super kit, but probably it's worth a try anyway. And
It's pretty
look
good,
at the
pretty
videos; it looked pretty good. And also, if you need to borrow some tools and bits and pieces for that project, you can go to the there's an item lending project in Dublin.
The address you have down here is ie.uk.2.
It actually works though.
What?
Yeah. Go to the link. It works, but essentially it's meant to be set up a project in Dublin where you can borrow or lend items such as obviously DIY kit, things like that people might need. So it'd be a pretty cool idea though if you had something like in your area where people were collaborating and if you needed to borrow like a screwdriver. Like I was trying to install a second hard drive in my PC and I had no screwdrivers, so I was like, I don't know the name. Who am I going to borrow a screwdriver off? And I had to go buy screwdrivers because nobody was in. So I was like knocking.
These things work really well if you're living in an urban area with a
really
large subpopulation or whatever kind of person.
Well, generally in the countryside, people tend actually to know each other a little bit better.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're not going to be able to go, look, there's 150 people who are all linked onto Google Maps living in Boggy Waguar, who all have screwdrivers.
Yeah.
It's not going to... There's a level of scale that's not going to happen really there. So.
True. But anyway, continuing, my media pimps, my next one is the Tourist Remover, which is a pretty cool online little app. So, often happens that you're trying to take a photo of, say, a famous landmark in a really busy tourist area, and obviously people are walking in front of you and their cars passing and all this. So what you can do is you can take multiple photos with this. You take multiple photos and then this app is able to integrate all of them and just remove each kind of interfering object as it goes along. So say you've one photo there with a person standing in the left corner, and then you've another one where maybe there's a car in the right hand corner but nothing blocking the left hand corner, so it's able to integrate them and so it looks like there's nobody there.
It's fucking amazing.
So it's pretty cool, and it's definitely something very useful for people who are going on holidays. You know, they can keep this in mind, and if they're in a busy area where there's lots of goddamn tourists around, you can just take multiple photos and get rid of all of them.
If you tweak this, if somebody was like wearing clothes which were moving a lot, and you could like, you know, get rid of the moving. Sorry.
Yeah, you
too much time on Pornotube.
too much time on Pornotube. Anyway, and finally, my next one is RiffTrax, which allows you to download alternative commentaries for some of your favourite movies.
Didn't we pimp this already?
Did we pimp this already? I don't know.
I think we did.
Maybe we did.
Either way, it's good though.
It's really good because it's done by the guy who did Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, cool.
Which is one of my favourite movies.
It's on a series.
It was a series, but they also made a movie. I've only ever seen the movie, which was, it's brilliant. It's absolutely hilarious. So unfortunately, I've never seen it. I'd love to see the show though. But anyway, so if you're a fan of the show or the movie, definitely get down to this guy's website. Or I believe maybe we pimped a website where people submit their own commentaries.
Yes,
so this is guy.
This is just one dude.
This is just this one particular individual, but there are alternative websites where people are able to submit their own commentaries for movies. But this guy is pretty good.
It's a really clever idea as well, because he's not violating anyone's IP, but he's adding value to stuff.
He's adding value.
He's encouraging the purchase of products.
Plus, it could turn a really crappy movie into something really good.
That'll be fantastic.
It could be
the
good.
right commentary.
Exactly, like Mystery Science Theater 3000 took really awful movies and made them brilliant.
And let's actually do that, because it's a good way if you have a movie, you've seen it 100 times.
Yeah, exactly. Or something
Pretty in Pink, like...
You love talking over and just going,
oh! I actually own that video, would you believe? I got it for free, but...
Yeah.
Okay, I like wearing pink! I thought it was good! Oh!
Dear God. Anyway, do your pimps.
Okay. You can play any Mega Drive game online if you follow one of my links this week. It's the Smartass is the website, and they have a little Java app that lets you play pretty much any Mega Drive game. Pretty big, 640 by 480. Fucking sweet. You can play Sonic, the full game, and other Mega Drive games. So obviously you can do this with an emulator anyway, but you can do it at work.
Yes.
Which is
all
awesome.
important. All important.
You can look at a video, courtesy of TCAL, the community at large, which is a fantastic site, by the way. You should check it out, tcal.net. But courtesy of this site, you can look at a video of Portal, which is the second episodic release of content for Half-Life 2. This looks fantastic. You seen this?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Let's just say the gravity gun has been upgraded to a much more interesting and original idea, and it just looks freaking amazing.
It wasn't that great.
Was it? Yeah, it was only really one level in the last one.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't a fantastic. It was okay.
It was fun. But
it was fun, yeah. But you know, you could have been more. I don't know. Could have used it better. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you couldn't pull something, you were pulled towards it?
Was that not?
No, it wasn't.
Weak.
Which would be cool because then you could like climb onto things you couldn't reach. You aim for like a gird or something like this, and suddenly you're way up in the sky and you drop onto something.
I'll show you this video after. Trust me, it's
normally access.
This will revolutionize games. This thing.
Or you have an fires.
What's this? Groin punching.
Groin punching. Yes, gravity groin punching.
This is just a big wanking show, isn't it?
It is.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Downhill Duel is the most amazing flash game I've ever seen. It's a 3D mountain biking game that you can play in a browser. Says it all. Okay, top 100 science fiction books. List of the top 100 science fiction books to read and a description of each one, and a lot of them are very good, so you should check them out, especially if you're a geek. We got a performance by Buck65, who is an really interesting guy. He's kind of like cross between Tom Waits and Jay-Z. I went to see him the other night in Whelan's, but I have a link to not that performance but another performance of one of his songs, which is absolutely, I think it's fantastic.
Worth checking out, definitely.
It's different. You won't have heard anything like this before. Buck65, really cool guy. Check him out. If he's coming to your local area, tickets will be cheap. You'll have a great time, guarantee it. Okay, that's it. The other thing is going to link to that. Thank you so much for watching. I felt closer to you every time I don't see you.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. We're getting closer.
Dude, I nearly touched your tongue!